strive to achieve or attain something in the face of difficulty or resistance. Bobby Herrera. Yeah, okay.
Okay.
We're
On bread. I'm ready. Great. Hey Saints, welcome back to the Shipp Show with 2 P's, no T. We're your hosts, President Dan and President Justin. Thank you all for joining us for the first time or returning for episode 3. For those of you that have come back for every episode so far, I appreciate the continued support, and I hope to see you keep coming back to see what Dan and I can get up to.
Sure.
How are you today, Dan?
Doing great,
Good,
right?
good.
Good to be with you.
Yes.
So, right, since we last were together,
Yes.
so you had a cross-country meet. Tell us, how did everybody do?
We did great. Cross-country team had some great success. Men's team did really well. Men's team did really well from a times perspective. Girls team did well from a times and a placement perspective.
Okay.
So I was happy. I was very happy with my result.
Now, where were you? You were in a cold space, right?
We were in the great state of Wisconsin, up in Kenosha, at UW Parkside.
Okay.
So it was nice and chilly. Yep. But it's a nice course. I haven't run there since freshman year. It's like an actual I don't say like official, but like it's a genuine cross country course. Like they've got like markers and a whole bunch. It's very hilly, very hilly.
Oh boy.
Gorgeous though. So we're running through the trees. It was super, super nice. So it was kind of almost poetic. I started my first ever regionals there. Freshman year was there, and then my final regionals was at same course. So it was very, very
so tell
poetic
me about
in a
that,
sense.
right?
Yeah.
So this is kind of the bookmark.
This is it.
Of your bookend to your whole experience.
Yeah.
How's that feel?
Admittedly, it's like bittersweet, right? Because like I am lucky that I still have 2 more seasons of competition left ahead of me, so I'm not like completely putting a pin in it quite yet.
Got it.
But it's definitely sad, right? Like cross country was super important. I admittedly enjoy cross country season a little bit more than track, just because it's more spread out. And so it was kind of sad to cross that finish line. There were tears shed, of course. It's that final hurrah, mostly because I had just run 6.2 miles and I was kind of like I couldn't feel my legs.
I think that would make me cry regardless of any emotions. Right?
But it was good. It was very good to be with my team, good to be with my seniors. So
and a PB, right?
A personal best, absolutely.
Right,
Can't complain.
Congrats.
Thank you.
I love it.
Finishing off cross country on a high. So I couldn't ask for better. I really couldn't. My whole family was out there. My girlfriend made it. One of my roommates' girlfriends made it. It was the whole crew was all there to.
What do they do? Like, which mile do they go to? And
they were everywhere. I tell you what.
Yeah.
You? Oh my God. It was so many people. Like people I knew. I was like turning every corner, expecting to see nobody, and it's just somebody I know right there. It's one of the beauties of cross country. It's like you never know what's going to happen. So
And isn't it like today we're supposed to talk about motivation?
Yes, we are.
Right? Inspiration.
Yeah.
So that plays a big role, right?
100%.
Is other people, right? So I bet you that spurred you on.
Oh, absolutely. It's like, I will say especially too, because I had turned a couple corners at those races, because it's a very windy course. And so I was like, all right, well, it's super muddy, super gross. And all of a sudden there's somebody cheering your name. And I'm like, I don't know who you are, but thank you for cheering my name. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, I love it.
So it was good. It was really good. But yeah, it's a great segue.
Yeah.
I guess I should also clarify too. So I was mind searching for what we should talk about today.
Okay.
And I feel like I've just watched our past 2 episodes, and you just have such like an insightful mind. And so I was like, what could I talk about that would spur on some of those thoughts, which is how we landed on motivation. Yeah. And so that's what we're here to talk about, right? So let's talk motivation.
Okay. Right? What do we want to know, right? Yeah, right? And it's easy. No, it's not. It's really difficult.
Absolutely not. And I will say part of why that's a little bit relevant now for me for 2 things. As an athlete, I think motivation is huge, and we can definitely talk about the motivation from an athletic side of things. Me personally, this point in the semester, I will say I'm lacking quite a bit in all kinds of motivation.
Yeah.
And so how do we kind of go about that? Where do you find motivation? Where do you personally get motivation to just, get up and move every day?
So, right, all of us have kind of these orbits in our life, right? We have kiddos, families. Some of us have kiddos, right? Families. You think about the lessons learned and the people in your life, right, that you connect to. Then you think about professionally and the work that you will be doing when you graduate, and the work that I get to do now in serving the campus and our students. Sometimes, we talk about sometimes motivation can be a real challenge, depending on what time of the year it is or time of the day, right, even. But it's fun for me when you find your strike zone as a human, right? Is like, what do you love to do? What really gets you excited and up out of bed every day? So for me, right, I'm in
Yep.
education,
Yep.
Go figure, students,
Yeah.
our faculty, our staff. What's as simple for me, we have probably as administrators, we have too many meetings, right? I think we would all agree to that.
That'll happen.
But I'll go sometimes just in between meetings and go for a walk around campus
I love it.
and observe students kind of in the wild, right?
Yeah,
Living their best lives to and from coming to campus. But even going downstairs, right, from our office, it's fun to go, and if you're grabbing a coffee or you're grabbing lunch, and just to watch the students interact with each other. And it's always been something I'll do because it's a level set for me about what all this is adding up to for each of those humans.
Yeah. Right.
So you're getting to see, why do we do all this work? It's for all of you.
Yeah.
Right. And
Absolutely.
so sometimes it's just small reminders like that of seeing our students thrive and engage with each other. And you can see the worry and excitement and the right after tests and the students coming and going, but excited to see each other, excited to see their life open up. Man, if that doesn't motivate you in education, I don't know what will.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
What about you? What do you do? Like, how does it work for you?
Yeah, I will say it's, I want to say like dependent maybe is the word I can use. Like I am somebody who would call myself very like intrinsically motivated. Like I get a lot of self-gratification. I'm very like motivated by my own personal like goals and success and things of that nature, especially in something like this. Like this is a great tool. Like we're spreading tons of good information to all of the Maryville community and beyond, but it's also something really cool for me. Like it's just very successful. And it's something I can, look back on and be proud of. So I get motivation from those kind of things. I'm also, as we've brought up in former episodes, like I'm very motivated by people. Like people's success and people's joy brings me, like that's what motivates me to get out of bed every day is like, what can I do in this world? What difference can I make? How can I be, beneficial in people's lives? What positive impact can I make? So similar to what you were saying, right, in terms of being an educator, like what can I do today to make other people happy? And that inherently makes me happy.
I love that. I don't think it's a compliment to you. I don't think I had that all in my head straight, like when I was your age.
Yeah.
I think when you're younger, and you're kind of the example of a little bit different than most. As you're evolving, right? You tend to focus on yourself. Kind of me over we.
Right.
And there was a point in my life, right? We've kind of talked about it in the past episodes, but where it flipped for me, right?
Yeah.
And it's like everything slowed down and it became a focus of we over me. And so to see other people thrive and to excel and to, have a little bit of joy, even if you're a little part of that. I think that's a really special thing.
Yeah.
And it kind of fills you with oxygen, right?
It does, absolutely. And it's like even, something small like making, like I made cookies in my apartment last night because I was 9:30
What kind
p.m.
of cookies? What do we
Chocolate
make?
chip, of course, my favorite.
Do you have good ones? Do you like?
I do.
Do you like crunchy or do you like the chewy guys?
Oh, I like soft cookies,
Ooh, I do too.
And I
You should have brought some in. Like, how's that?
we could have
Come
tried them on
What's
the
going
pod.
on? I know.
Well, it was 9 p.m. last night, and I was like, you know what? I really need a baked good, and I was like, it's time. And so I made them really quick, and my roommates walked out, and they're like, can we have some? And I was like, yeah. And that for me, like that's motivation. Like it's I got a baked good out of it, but my roommate smiled and also got a baked good out of it. So
and
it's like
just
fun.
a little delight. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's nothing crazy. I'm not looking for like you know, cartwheels in my living room, but it was fun and it was good
To do for others.
It is, yeah. And I think that's part of why I enjoy SAAC so much, part of why I enjoy, being a leader on my team so much, because I can do things for them, and it feels great to do that.
You know what's also, here's what, to kind of shift gears on motivation too. One of the things that I was thinking about this coming over here is the idea of fear as motivation.
Yeah.
And that doesn't really always connote a positive, right? But I'll tell you what, for me, I think it's good to kind of speak truth to kind of what you're fearful of.
Yeah.
And for me, it's always been about really not living into a full life. And if you took your last breath today, would you be thinking, gosh, I wish I would have done more, done these things, would have lived my life more full out, would have done more for others. And so in a way that fear is a motivator of, not only for my boys, our family, my wife, all those personal friendships, family relationships, but the work, right? Like what you don't see around this office, we have a ton of things in motion to do so many positive things for students.
Yeah.
And I think about that because time is not on our side, right? And I don't want my last breath to be, I wish we would have worked a little harder, thought a little more clearly, had better ideas, because this is the time to do so much good for our students.
Yeah.
And so I think there's a fear always in the back of my mind. It's kind of like, the old, one of my favorite books is Frankenstein, right? It's like the monster behind you or the pitchforks and fire. That always drives you toward, I don't want to leave anything on the table whenever that last breath is for me.
Yeah.
So that's a motivator, right? What about you? Would you think about something like that?
No, absolutely. And I think I've heard, it was probably in a movie or somewhere or in a podcast I listened to, but they say that as humans, fear of death is what keeps you alive and what keeps you going. And so I think that's also something to look into. For me as a student athlete, right, I have fear and absolutely is a motivator in two ways. From the more student side of things and like the, aspiring professional kind of things, like I am super motivated. I am worried, like at this point in my life, right? Like I graduate in May, so I'm eternally fearful that I have not done enough to prepare myself to graduate. And I'm like, oh God, I got to get all those things done.
Hey, I get to sign off on your paper. You know that, right?
Oh yeah.
So maybe we want to keep you around here for a little bit longer, Justin. I can say, you know what? He's going to need 2 more semesters, right?
Hey, if it's what has to happen, it's what has to happen.
No, you're going to graduate.
But it's that fear, right? That like I haven't done enough, and so it's that inherently motivation to do as much as I can and put myself in as many professional opportunities and opportunities outside of school to make myself prepared for the future. I also think in athletics it's the fear of failure.
Yes.
So it is for me, like I can stand on ground that in 3.5 years I have never DNF'd a race. I've never stopped in a race. And that's something that is not like a brag in the sense that like I'm so much better than everybody else, but like regardless, my people always ask me like, what's your goal? What's your end time? And usually I have like I want to finish this time, and this time I want to get across the line. I need to start and I need to get across the line.
But setting that goal
absolutely
and the fear of not reaching that goal is a motivator.
Absolutely. Right? It's realistically, if I DNF, nothing's going to happen. But for me, it's so very scary. And so it's like that fear of not crossing the line is what gets me to cross the line. And
it's also it's kind of the idea of allowing yourself grace as well.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, absolutely.
So it's like we all fall short of goals and aspirations and the things that you were hoping to accomplish. But the thing that I think you learn along the way is to push yourself.
Yeah.
Right through kind of those roadblocks, obstacles. That's how you get a personal best. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And just a fear of falling short in reaching your potential.
Yeah.
That is such a good motivator, right? So I love that. I think that's a great point.
Yeah, and I think it's, it helps people continue to live up to their potential if they're constantly worried about what it will be. Like I'm in a stage of my life where I feel like I'm just like constantly evolving and things. So like those fears are evolving, which is good because it's keeping me doing positive things and keeping me moving forward. And I hope it continues along that pathway, especially as I move into the more prominent parts of my final year of education. So.
And isn't it fun too? You think of, this is years ago now. I used to be a personal trainer.
Okay.
Right. So
That's
you
cool.
kind of go back to. I used to view kind of everybody as their own combination lock, right? And I typically didn't want to work with the most in shape, fit, humans, right?
Yeah.
I wanted really the tougher cases. Because it was really, I felt like it was important to unlock kind of that motivational factor for each of those individuals to help them. Is it weight loss? Is it feeling better about yourself? Is it all those things, right? And it was always fun to try to unpack that with somebody. It's like everybody's little motivational engine's a little bit different.
Yeah.
I'll never forget this one fella. He was probably 65 or so, and he he stayed at about the same weight, and he always wanted a goal of losing about 10 pounds, right? Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, why are you doing this? Because he used to work out like crazy. I was like, what's kind of at the root of the motivation, right? Is it just health for health's sake?
Yeah,
or
right.
He's like, no, I would, I'd like to be more active for my grandchildren, right?
Yep.
I'd like to be around longer for my grandchildren.
That's awesome.
And I was like, well, let's do this. Like, we made a card that had his family and his grandkids, and we circled them. I was like, just put this, let's just try this. Like, let's put it in your back pocket when you're working out, when you're at home, and just when you're feeling, because diet, right, it's a big deal.
Absolutely.
Before you go make a bad decision on diet, pull that card out. Why are we doing this?
Yeah.
And for him, it unlocked everything.
Yeah.
And so I always think about that. Everybody's just a little bit different in what they're doing, right?
Yeah.
And so I think, how do we tap into what's the motivating factor for each person?
Yeah, and I like that personal connection too, like that motivated by people. We, looping back to what we talked about at the start here, like when I am running, when I'm competing, there is such an element of like getting down on yourself because it's like, oh my God, I'm going slow. It's hot. My feet hurt. Oh, it's muddy. It's terrible. I'm dying. But then, like you turn a corner and there's my mom taking pictures, or there's my roommate screaming at me to go faster. And it's like, okay, well, this is who I'm running for. This is who I'm out here for. These are the people that have come all this way to support me.
Don't want to disappoint them.
Right, exactly. And so I think the personal element of motivation is super huge. And I think if you are motivated by people, it's very easier to be motivated in life.
It is. Yeah,
it is, because people aren't going anywhere.
And I think of I have 3 little boys, right?
Yeah.
So it's also, there are days, right, where we're probably not on our best. We don't have our best self. You're worn down. You're maybe feeling a little down or drowsy of the stuff that you're involved in. I always think about the idea of a role model, right? Mm-hmm. So, I'll never forget my dad when I was a kid. I was feeling down about something. He's like, hey, welcome to the rest of your life. Like, you're going to have to learn to figure out that combination lock inside of you. Mm-hmm. And I think about that. Now, for me, it's really serving as a good role model for our boys. And so I don't want them to see dad pouting around or tired or sad about whatever the issue of the day or moment is.
Absolutely.
So they are really inspirational to me. And so I think I don't want to let them down.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And again, it's that, that connection. You're driven by people. You're driven by those that are around you. Makes it easier to wake up every day when you're thinking about them, and it's, you picture their face, or you're in a hard moment and all of a sudden they come to you. It's much better, much easier.
What about music, man?
Music.
Is there stuff like that gets you fired up?
Yes. Well, I would say just music in general. I am... again, my music taste is kind of all over the place.
Right.
When I am sitting doing homework recently, so I got dogged on this a little bit because when you asked me last episode about what my favorite band was, I froze in the moment.
Yeah, you're like, I don't know.
But I thought back on it afterwards, and my girlfriend actually introduced me to a band. They've unfortunately all passed away, so they have their own set of the one album they've dropped. It's called Hers. It's like this indie sort of band. Oh, wow. Love their music. Each and every song they've ever written is my favorite ever. So I love to when I'm like, okay, I need to sit and do homework, I'll play all 15 of their songs on repeat. When I'm going to run a race, I need loud, I need energetic. I'm motivated by something that's going to get stuck in my head, so then I'll sing it for all 6.2 miles that I'm running. And I love music, as we've talked about, but I think it's definitely a motivator for sure. Recently I've been listening to Christmas music as well, not for running, just in general.
It's already happened. Right, Christmas music.
Controversial. It's a controversial take. I've had my tree up since November 1st.
Oh my!
But that's actually plays into motivation, right?
Yes.
When I was at home, my family lives under the mindset that Christmas starts the day after Thanksgiving, and so I was raised on that, and I was like, okay, that's fine.
I think most of us, that was kind of the
and
rule.
Then I got to my own space, and I was like, it's November 1st. I want a tree up in my room. Waking up to Christmas lights makes me happy.
Is it a real tree or
no? It's fake.
Okay.
It's fake, but it is light. It is bright. It is fun, and it makes me, motivated to get up in the morning.
Where do you come down on the real tree versus the artificial tree?
I'm like not going to hate on you if you have a real tree. I just don't have the energy to maintain a real tree. So
Right.
I'm
or to
always
go
going to
chop
say
it
fake.
down or something. They have the farms where you can
We
go
got to
chop
change
them
the
down.
water. And
I'm like, no, that sounds like a lot of work.
yeah, I'm going to stick to fake because it's going to look the exact same every year. And then I can put it up in a box and take it back down easy peasy.
Yep. No, that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think music, right? So here's your next music challenge, right? Okay. Is think about just really that one song.
Yep.
That represents you at your core self.
Okay.
So that you don't have to. It's not a pop
it's going to take a minute.
This is for our next one. You need to think about that. I think a lot about that. Actually, I'm kind of a nerd this way. I've put together an entire catalog. Tyler may have done this too. I have my top 100 songs of all time.
Wow.
And so I've kind of put this list together. And it's fun because that top 100 moves around a little bit.
Yeah.
So it's fun, right? It's kind of a meditation at times. You'll hear a song on the radio or you're streaming it and you're like, I think that song needs to move up a little bit. That's getting into the top 20.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I need to see that list of top 100
I'll bring
songs.
them in.
Absolutely. But do you have an answer to that? What would say the song that defines your life?
I do. So Rain King by the Counting Crows.
Okay.
And so there's just a lot about the lyrics to the song. And I feel like I've been with Adam Duritz and the Counting Crows forever.
Yeah.
But I've seen him many times. But I just think that song hits a note if you were to describe me. I think there's a better, and there's the traditional radio version, but then there's their live, they slow it down.
Yeah.
I think that's really a beautiful song, right? And says a lot about living into a life, right?
I'll have to go listen to it.
Yeah, you got to.
I will.
So your homework, you got to come up with yours.
I'll listen to your song review and then I'll give you one of mine as well by next episode. So I'll keep that in mind.
Our team here has to come up with yours too, so right?
Production better hear that.
Right, I know, you got to do it.
Perfect. Well, you brought up music, which actually I had planned a music question for next week. And at this point, if we're bringing up music,
bring it on. We got
this is completely unrelated and so very random.
Yeah.
But let's picture a very short time ago. You're 21 years old in your senior year of college, driving down the road with all your friends. What's playing on the radio?
I would probably say China Cat. And bleeding into I Know You Rider.
Okay.
So the Dead, right? Won't surprise anybody.
No.
Grateful Dead. But that is, if you play those two back to back, that's a great. I mean, we never had awesome vehicles, right? But it would have been nice to have a convertible, or a Jeep, top down, and listen to that music on a beautiful day. So
nice.
What about you? You got it? Because it's coming up for you, right?
Yeah, I know. I was gonna say that spring semester. Currently, I can't pick one. Like I said, I'm leaning back into my Hers addiction. It's just kind of very good, like vibey, summer-ish kind of music. It is that exact kind of like roll your windows down. I also don't have a nice throw the top down kind of car.
Ever does,
No, I wish I did. I mean, I have a nice car. Don't get me wrong, but I just am leaning into some of that. I've also been getting back into kind of like Nat King Cole sort of Perry Como era. Partially because I was listening to Christmas music, and then I was inspired to go back and listen to that kind of era. So that's where I'm at right now. Yeah, just a complete aside, but a great. I'll have to come up with something different now to ask you next week.
Okay. And you have to come up with your song.
I will, and then I need to get your list of 100 songs.
I will.
I'll perfect. So another thing I want to talk about in relation to motivation is the relationship between motivation and success.
Yeah.
So it's very hard to be motivated when you're not successful or when success seems far away. So how can we maybe work to shift that? How can you find motivation in areas where you're not seeing success, or maybe how can you shift success to make you more motivated?
Well, there's kind of a real trick to that, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think I'd use running maybe as your example, right?
Yeah.
This probably fits really good for you. Is that so I was a sprinter, right?
Yes.
So I was very anaerobic, not very aerobic in my life until I got into my 30s, right? And actually, when I met my wife, she's a triathlete. So, right, I had to just keep up with her. I needed to be a little more aerobic, right, in my work. And it's just better overall health for you. So, for me to go out and want to run, at that time in my life, more than a mile, that was a lot.
Yeah.
But yet I'd want to go run 6 miles with her but I just couldn't. I didn't have the lung capacity to do it.
Yeah.
So I had to start biting it off in chunks, just in a way, kind of by myself, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, hey, let's do a mile every 2 or 3 days and start with that.
Mm-hmm.
But I know I was depressed, like, oh my gosh, how can I just go out and do this?
Yeah.
And so you can really feel like you're not very successful and a failure, right? Because you're trying to bite off too much of the goal.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think starting with little bites of success, right? I needed to begin to reframe it that going out and running a mile, 2-3 miles was a really big deal, because that just had never been my background.
For sure.
And so we started to celebrate that a little bit. I felt good about myself, right?
Yeah.
Kind of the dopamine, the hit of affirmation that you can do this. And then you kind of stack those mini successes on the road to a major goal.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Running a marathon or a half marathon.
Yeah.
Those are things that I think running's always a really good metaphor for a lot of things.
It is.
I think people can miss the stacking of those little achievements on the way. It's kind of like college too, right?
Yep.
I need to do well in this course,
Yep.
but it needs to start with this test, with this quiz, to get through the course that gets me to the next course, through my gen ed requirements, on the way to my discipline, on the way to earning my bachelor's degree.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, that's a journey, right?
Yeah. No.
What do you think?
I was going to say, I definitely share a similar mindset. Like, when I'm goal setting, because, I like to stay, I'm always motivated. I like to say, so my goals are always based off my motivations. So I am very realistic when I set goals. Like, I think, like you said, running is a fantastic example. When I'm taught, like my mom always asks me before my races, or my dad always asks me, like, what are you trying to hit today? And I'm like, across the line. Like, that's baseline. My motivation is always, I want to get across the line. And then I like to call it a tier system.
Oh, I like that.
Like, my very upper tier is I usually set myself like an exact time goal. Like, I want to hit this time. And then it's a little bit slower, and then a little, like a more realistic one, like a real upper echelon, like, this is if I'm feeling fantastic.
Right.
And then it's a more realistic goal. And then it's like if you start to hurt kind of goal. Because then I'm hitting a goal regardless. Like, I was gonna say, like, there's benchmarks, and or checkpoints. Like, I'm always reaching the checkpoints, and like especially then during a race, especially cross country too. It's a blessing and a curse when you're running. They have like mile markers sometimes up with clocks. So like they'll give you your 5K split, they'll give you your 6K split, which is good for some. For me, it stresses me out. I hit my watch, start, and I don't look at it again until I cross the finish line.
See, I think that's so good.
Exactly, because I can't, like, if I were to look I'd stress myself out. So sometimes it's good, right? Like, if you feel good and you come across that mark, you're like, okay, well, there we go. I've already hit a goal, and then it's just motivation to keep going.
You know what's cool about what you said is that you know what works for you.
Yep.
So some people want to see those big digital clocks and know where they're at, and
right.
That maybe that anxiety is what they need.
Mm-hmm.
For you, it's like, I don't want to look at that. Right. So it's a small example. That's funny. Like, I do these cold plunges, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like 42 degrees at 10 minutes is a lot for me, right? So I could, like, I do my little clock stopwatch on it.
Yep.
But I try not to look at it.
Yep.
Until I usually listen to 1 or 2 songs. So I kind of know I'm almost there.
Yeah.
And then I'll just glance at it. But if I just keep looking at it,
right.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, it's awful.
It makes 10 minutes seem like 30 minutes.
It's
so
awful.
I know that's not going to help me.
Yep.
But what you're doing is you learn what in your brain kind of triggers your success.
Yeah, and I think that's another thing too is like you said, everybody's different. Everybody has their own set of like intrinsic or extrinsic motivators. And for some, it might be hard to understand what motivates others, but that doesn't mean it can't motivate them.
Right.
Like, you talk about your plunge example. I can also come up with a small example. When we do track workouts, it's usually like, 400 meters or 800 meters or 60 or mile repeats and whatever. It's like chronically bad, but I'll be like, okay, I just did 1 lap. I only have 3 to go. And then I'll do 2. And I'm like, okay, now I only have 2 to go.
I'd be like, I haven't thrown up yet. Is that a goal, right?
Right.
Yeah,
exactly.
Right? Okay,
exactly. So I'll like check my watch. I'm like, okay, we're on pace, but it's counting down bits and pieces and bits and pieces.
Little successes on the way to reaching a goal.
Yep. And I worked retail forever. I would do that. I'd count up until lunch. I'd get my 30-minute lunch break, and then every small bits
Yep.
until
Yeah.
I got farther and farther. So I like that mindset. I think it's much. I have never found personal success in setting like really big picture, like massive goals, like win all of this and do all of these things. Cause like, yeah, that'd be awesome. But also you would miss so much along the way.
Yeah.
And so you have to set things that allow you to like be more observant along the way. Enjoy the process and just not just the
Well,
result.
I'm glad you said enjoy. I think there's celebrations along the way.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that feels good. If you're just waiting for like if it's I'm going to come in as a new student and I'm going to graduate in 4 or 5 or 6 years, whatever it takes. That can be a long time to wait for a celebration. But what if there are those little, I always think about, we have a staff member, Katie, who we talk about education as a series of achievements, which are kind of those DOPA hits.
Yeah.
So you know how sometimes you get an email and it's a congratulations, it's like a confetti pop.
Yeah.
So in a way, I think that's a good way to think about.
I love that.
A little bit of a celebration as you go. Right?
Yes.
So how do we provide more of those for ourselves? And
yeah, I agree. I like celebrating everything, like celebrating the small things, celebrating the big things, because I think it's so important. Like even, and I'll bring the athletics piece back into here too. Like even if you didn't PR today, hey, you looked great while you were racing. We got some cool pictures of you. Even if you felt terrible, hey, listen, you got to cross the line. You're out here doing this. Half the people in the world are out here doing this today.
More than half of the people in the world are not doing that. Yeah.
I was going to say there's so much to celebrate that I think sometimes gets overlooked when we are so landlocked on point A.
It can't just be one thing.
No, it can't be. It's got to be everything leading up to point A and everything then after point A. And so I think that's something I've tried to live my life by and help others in my life.
Those are wise words, my friend.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And another thing we can talk about that also is kind of tied into this is like the motivational environment. And so I can bring up a personal example. So I actually just brought this up. We had a SAAC meeting this past week or 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
And I brought this story up because I think it's important. We moved back early. And so we had moved back onto campus early. And our coaches, we had started out a few days of campus. And then we had a sudden coaching change. And so we were left kind of, like hanging in the sense that like it was just really close to the start of the season, and the sudden change was just very, very tough on the team. Right, it's tough on the mental, it's tough on the training plan. We had we got it figured out obviously because we made it here, but it is very tough for two reasons, because that can completely rip out motivation, especially if you're an incoming freshman, right? And you see, in your first week, it's like, oh shoot. But also what I will say to look at the positive side of things is I will say my team last year, I felt like we were like cross country and then cross country into track. Like the whole group was as close as it could be because we were all motivated by the same thing. We'd all undergone this sort of like shocking moment of, oh my gosh, where do we go from here? So it drew us all closer together, which then created a very motivational environment and a very good team culture. Team culture is something I am a huge proponent of. And then when we were doing interviews for new coaches last fall around this time, it was the question I always asked every coach I interviewed or got the chance to be on the Zoom calls with was, hey, like, how do you feel about team culture? Because that's so important to motivation. Yeah.
What do you think? How would you describe your team culture right now?
I will say, again, having built off of what the experiences of last year, we had a couple incoming freshmen, but it was from a cross-country perspective. I am unfortunately not had too much of an opportunity to interact with the larger track team just because there's between, I think, 70 plus of us. Yeah. So from what I understand from their side of things, because we're practicing at different times now, we're starting to inch into getting more and more together, but they seem to be doing great. The team culture seems pretty solid on their side of things. From a cross-country perspective, I think it's great. I think, again, it's a lot of returners, and so we had that strong foundational base of last year.
Support for each other.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like we, the girls can always, or the guys team always, when the girls start first, we line up and cheer on the girls team as they go. We run through the course if we can several times throughout our races this weekend because the girls team went first. Women's team, Women's team went first. They were cheering us on throughout the course. Yeah, and we all, everybody just gets along with everybody. Like we're all here. We've got a similar end goal. Everybody's got, again,
Right.
their own personal growth journeys, but everybody's got the same end goal. And so we're all kind of unified against that. And that's part of one of the really huge things I wanted to drive home I don't love calling myself a team captain because I feel like that sometimes gets some I'm going to put my lead foot down. But like in my role as a team captain is fostering a very good culture, because then after I leave, I want that culture to continue.
You're a culture leader.
I
right?
like to be. I hope to be.
Well, I think that's a big part of it. Like, right? So I'm the president of a university.
Yeah.
So I need to role model really good behavior.
For sure.
And I need to kind of walk the talk, right?
Yeah.
And where I can help clarify culture, right?
Yeah.
Can we be a little kinder? Can we work a little closer together? Can we care about our students in a very North Star way? Like that's important to the results for the institution, but most importantly, I think it underscores how we focus on students.
Absolutely. And you can maybe talk a little bit more about that. How do you feel, like, what is the importance of team culture or just technically team culture for you as well?
It is. I think it's I see myself as really the cheerleader and in some ways the driver of a institutional culture. And so, but not just what I view as the way we have to do it. So I've been working really hard with our senior leadership team to unpack what are those values that are really important to us in serving our students. So, I mean, those are, it's one thing to say that you believe in collaboration and you are going to be honest and respectful and kind. There's going to be moments where that's not reflected in the culture.
Right.
I feel like it's my responsibility to show up and be present and help improve that culture. And sometimes it's just having a critical conversation with someone. Those are sometimes difficult.
Yeah.
But I think that the rest of the community or the team sees that I'm serious about the values that we're developing, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's where trust gets developed, right? That we're not just saying things, we're actually going to live it.
Yeah. And that's all inherently motivational too. Like if I were working for a leader or if I was working with anybody who, is actively involved in that kind of process, you're going to naturally want to be more involved and naturally want to put your best foot forward because you can see it happening. You can believe in the mission. You can see the cause in front of you. And I think really cool. Yeah. And I think that's when I talk about where I want to be, like that's part of what I want to do. And I hope I'm doing that. I mean, obviously I can't tell unless I ask people about it. But
into it, right?
Yeah,
in your life,
exactly.
Right?
I'm still relatively young. I feel old, but I'm young. So
you're young. Take it from me, you're young, right?
Yeah.
But I do think that's some really good advice I could give to you and students that are learning and developing those skills around leadership, right? Is to be transparent, open, honest, be about others. And if you see folks that aren't getting it, right, in terms of care for each other and collaborating and working toward a common goal, then, don't just let it happen. Like work to coach, nudge, develop, support somebody to get them to live within those values. Right?
Absolutely.
I think culture is a very active process.
And it's always, you're correct. It's always changing. It's never, if it is staying the same, then your culture needs to be changed because it is something that should be adapting and evolving as people grow and adapt and evolve because it happens all the time.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah, absolutely. So we talked a little bit about this, but so how do you find yourself staying motivated when times get hard? Like when it gets tough, prime example for me right now, the end of the semester, I have no desire to open up Canvas literally at all. So how do you find the motivation to keep going and when times get really, really tough?
Yeah, I think it's through others, right?
Yep.
I think that's how I've always found it to work well for me, is that it's easy to get in your own head, right? And not use all those supports that you have around you. So I think for me, it's if I'm feeling tired or down or off my game, right? It's to think about how I can be more successful, supportive of others, and having kind of that strong kitchen cabinet for you, right? Whatever that looks like, family, friends, colleagues. Yeah. I think that we if you have a really healthy culture, you stabilize each other.
Yeah.
Right. And
I agree.
If I don't know where to turn or where to go, I've really through my life built a really good kitchen cabinet of friends, family leaders,
Yep.
and colleagues that you can ask questions to, or you can just reach out and say, gosh, I'm really disappointed or upset about this. Like, what do you think? How would you react?
Yeah.
And just have somebody to talk to. I think it kind of takes up your energy and gives you oxygen.
Yeah, I agree, 100%.
Yeah.
You've got a book with a quote in it.
Yeah, I
you
do.
Share
Right.
This with
So
the class?
Gift of Struggle by
Yes.
Bobby Herrera. He's the CEO of the Populist Group. This is a small little book, right? Nothing too complicated, but I really think there's some things in here. I usually have our leadership team read books together,
I love it.
right?
I love
and
it.
So this is one of them, right? Struggle,
Mm-hmm.
right, is to strive to achieve or attain something in the face of difficulty or resistance, right?
Yep.
And I think struggle can have a really negative connotation.
Yep.
Actually, I think if you can get to the point in your life, right, you can flip that, that struggle is so valuable to building a better you, right? So see it, embrace it, right?
Yeah.
Let it kind of wash through you to get to a better outcome, result, success. It's going to take that kind of struggle, right? So it's, all those old maxims of anything worth doing is hard, right? But that's kind of true.
It is, yeah.
Right? So I don't think anybody's just handing out easy results or outcomes, right? I've never found that.
Right.
So that struggle, embrace it, learn from it, figure out a way to inspire, motivate you and others.
Yeah, and you learn more from what you don't do right, and you learn more from those struggles than you do from the positives. If everybody lived a life that was all sunshine and rainbows all the time, I don't know that we'd ever be able to handle hard times.
I don't know those people.
I don't either, because they don't exist.
They don't exist.
Right.
But you know what? It's good that you recognize that, because I think also, stereotype, full disclaimer, when you're younger, I think you feel like that perfection is over there and other people have it and you don't.
Yes.
And that's just not true.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So we're all dealing with our own stuff and our
Always.
own insecurities and our own challenges. And I think as you mature and evolve as a human, once you digest that, it makes it a lot easier for you. It's like, I don't have to live up to any perfection level.
Right.
I'd like to be my best person, right? My best version of who I am.
Absolutely.
And that's a work in progress the rest of your life.
For sure, 100%. I like that. Again, it's that growth mindset. It's that you're always changing, you're always adapting. Growth mindset was something I actually heard in my freshman year Algebra 1 class in high school. And it is something I have taken and applied to a lot of aspects of my life as we continue on. Yeah. So I don't even remember what it was in relation to in mathematics at the time, but evidently it's become a very good principle to live by.
It is. Yeah. I love that you know that.
Yeah. Okay, so I forgot this last week, and we kind of already talked about a little silly question, but I like to end with something fun and silly to kind of, get our minds a little bit silly here.
You always pop quiz me, so I have to be on my best game. Okay.
So I have two options, but I'm going to roll with number one here.
Okay.
If you were a kitchen utensil, what would you be and why?
Oh, it's easy. This is easy. I've actually talked about this before. I'd be a spatula.
All right, let's hear it.
So why? The metaphor of helping lift others up, right?
I love it.
And if you like pancakes, it's kind of fun, right? You got to flip it over to get to the pancake, so it's the perfect pancake. Right?
I love it. I love it.
But I think, what about you? What would it be for you?
For me, I think I would be one of those like either wooden or plastic, the really big mixing spoons, because you can use them for just about everything. I use them in my kitchen. I make dinner. I make baked goods. I like scoop soup up with them. I like to think I'm pretty multifaceted, so I'd be relation to a pretty large spoon if I had to pick one.
I must say brownie batter. When you said that, I just think of brownie batter on the spoon.
I love it.
So
and getting to lick the spoon off, and absolutely.
So you're up for cookies next time we get together.
Yes, I'll bring cookies and my song.
Okay.
Next episode.
Okay. Great.
Well, that we pretty well covered motivation. I think we did a good job today.
I think we did, right? I hope people pick up a little nuggets in there of what we shared.
I hope so. Thank you guys for tuning in to episode 3. I hope you learned a little bit more about motivation today and how to stay motivated. Next topic, actually I already have prepared and written. We're going to be talking about disappointment and setback. And so it's kind of related to motivation, but be sure to tune back in next week for that one. Right.
Thanks, Justin.
Peace out, Saints.
Yeah. I love it.